What's up, everybody? This is John with the Unpaid Gamers with another Car Thoughts. It's an exciting Monday morning for me, anyway. So if you haven't heard before, I'm an IT guy. So apparently everybody's losing their mind on Mondays. It's pretty common, but shit everywhere is breaking. People, I guess, weekend brain, right? Nobody knows. Common sense has gone out the window usually, so that's what we're dealing with this morning. So I got to run out to an impromptu office visit for somebody. So here we are with another Car Thoughts because of it. So this weekend I was looking at so I mentioned in previous videos I want to start looking at some retro games to stream and stuff. I've been streaming the Vampire Swan Song. I feel like I'm kind of on my way of doing just a playthrough of that. I'm a handful of hours in. It's currently, I think, part 4 or something. So just keep a watch out for more of those. In between that, I'm streaming some EDF, so Earth Defense Force. So, which is the one I'm playing is 2017, which is a Xbox 360 title through backwards compatibility on the Series X. So once I complete one of those, whichever one comes first, I'll move on to the next thing. So we're gearing up for Halloween. We're gearing up for the Spooktacular Fest thing that Tom does. So I'm trying to kind of supplement that with games that kind of fit with that. So I was looking at some more retro games to kind of showcase in case they've been forgotten or whatever, and I came across some things that really got me thinking. So the where I'm getting at here is bullet time in games, and it's something that I don't really feel gets used as much as it should anymore. You really kind of don't see it often. Sometimes with a game, they'll throw it in, or to be like a certain level or a certain moment or something like that. But there used to be some games. There used to be some games that really heavily focused on that, or that was their entire gimmick. So if you don't remember, if you haven't played it, Max Payne was kind of one of the biggest ones to really kind of get that going. And what I mean by bullet time, if you don't know, is when everything slows down except for your movement, pretty much. Sometimes your movement slows down too. But just think like the Matrix, right? Everything slows down and you're shooting, killing bad guys usually still. So it's really, really satisfying mechanic to play. It was one of the most genius things that was ever implemented with movies and games both, really. So Max Payne was kind of the big notable one. I don't really remember if that was actually the first one to do it. It may have been, but I kind of feel like there was something before, and I don't know. Tom would probably remember if we were talking about it. Anyway, so but still, like commercially, like Max Payne was the one who kind of catapulted that past the Matrix. So much that even Max Payne back in the day, it had a like a Neo mod. You could modify, like you could play the whole lobby scene if you had the computer version, and be Neo and shoot like that. But it's great series if you haven't played that. Max Payne, it's like a detective noir style. Its biggest mechanic is that whole bullet time stuff. Now the game, there's not very many that really use those, at least to the kind of that full extent. There was another one that I was looking for, and I used to own, but I guess I don't anymore. I guess I traded it in, so I gotta track that down now because it's not available in the store. But it's called Fear, and if you haven't played Fear, it used to be really popular back in the day on PC especially. And and then it got ported to consoles and stuff. But it is a first-person shooter, like tactical, like you're like a tactical response unit. And my reason for looking at it is it had, again, at this point, is it has horror elements mixed in. So there's like a little girl in there that kind of taunts you, torments you, whatever you want to call it. Looks like The Ring. She's got the hair, like Japanese horror kind of thing, with the hair down in front of her face, stuff like that. And you're playing, in response to her and like the situation, and it has one of the most satisfying bullet time elements, because it's a like Max Payne was a third person shooter kind of game, and it's pretty cool, but you could jump around and leap over to the side and activate your bullet time and stuff like that. And this was I'm not sure if it was the first again, but it was a really notable first-person shooter that utilized that. So you could activate it whenever. You had like a little bar, from what I remember, so limited amount of time kind of thing that you can use up. But you would activate that bullet time, and it was so satisfying to pop around a corner and just unload on somebody with that bullet time, or throw a grenade and activate the bullet time and watch the debris, the slow motion. So that one's really cool. And like I said, I used to have it. I guess traded in a long time ago. So I'm gonna track that down again, and probably showcase some of that. So I know like Quantum Break uses it, which doesn't surprise me because it's made by the same people who made Max Payne. Remedy, I think is what they're called. Unless it changed their name, I don't remember. Also made Control, and I'm not sure if that one has bullet time in it or not. I think it does, but I don't remember. Another one that used it to a certain extent, it did some really weird stuff, was a game called Time Shift, and it was a first-person shooter. That was really cool because it used the whole bending time mechanic to not only slow down, but like you could rewind time, and you would have to use it for certain puzzles and stuff. Like you would come across like a hallway that had like rubble, debris and stuff blocking your way, so you could rewind time till before it was exploded so you can get through. But you could also use that mechanic to just kill people and rewind time and kill them again. It's really funny. You could slow down time, you could pause time even, I think. So enemy sees you, pause time, kind of circle around them and look at them like they're an idiot, then shoot them or something. So not enough games really utilize that mechanic anymore, and I would like to see something really do that again, because it's so cool, so fun. We're in the era of rehashing stuff, which hit or miss, like good or bad. It's fun, but that's one of the things that we, for whatever reason, haven't started to rehash, and we need to bring it back because it's awesome, super fun for the player. Not enough games use it. I would love to see like a reboot of Time Shift or another Max Payne, something like that. I don't know. I feel like there was Alan. Let's see, did Alan Wake use bullet time? I don't remember. I'm trying to think. So, the Max Payne people, they did Alan Wake, and then they did Quantum Break, and then they did Control. And a lot of those kind of, I know Control and Alan Wake are in the same universe. I think they all might kind of be, except for Max Payne. Max Payne is a little tricky because Rockstar is tied in with it. Is that who made 3? I don't know. Anyway, great games, great mechanic. I would like to see these games revisited, remastered, sequels, whatever. If not, just somebody please use some bullet time, because that shit's fun. The Matrix games, they used it to a certain extent. and they were okay. You know, that's a kind of a complaint, I guess. I don't know. I wish the backwards compatibility stuff's great, but there are some glaring omissions that I would like for them to throw in there to get work. But I know those days are over. They said they're done with making, you know, adding titles to the backwards compatibility list. I know sometimes it has to do with licensing issues, stuff like that. But yeah, there's some titles. The Matrix titles are among that list of not being backwards compatible. So, you know, if you want to play both of those, they did. If you don't know, they did Enter the Matrix, and it was around. You know, the first movie came out. They did 2 and 3, kind of back to back like that, and they released Enter the Matrix at the same time, and it was pretty cool because Enter the Matrix kind of had a separate story as the movies. So, you know, when it was like showing, what's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith's character, whatever her name is. Her side of the events when they split up. And, you know, it was cool. At the time, I remember thinking, it sucks. Like, to get the whole story, you gotta play the game. Gotta play the game. You know, I just wanted to play through as Neo and be badass and stuff, but they did this whole other weird thing. But it was pretty cool to use that medium in that way. Still a great game. And then they did release Path of Neo after that, and you'd play as Neo through all those events through the films. And kind of they gave everybody what they wanted then. But neither one of those are backwards compatible. I think... what is it? Maybe Enter the Matrix was... Maybe you can play it on the 360, but I know you can't... Pretty sure you can't play either one of them on the Series X. But, you know, another cool mechanic that Enter the Matrix had was it had like a command prompt, fake command prompt, and you'd have to do some hacking and stuff. Hacking, you know. And either way, it was a pretty cool little basic GUI and simulated kind of that hacking experience, and you know, you could use it to get cheats or you know, just Easter eggs and stuff like that. It was pretty cool to kind of go through that little thing too. It was a little kind of an extra side mode. I think it tied into the original game somehow. Been a long time, but very, very cool game. And I remember it came out, that game actually came out the same time as the Incredible Hulk game, based on the movie, I'm pretty sure, which was terrible. They did finally release some cool Hulk games, but that Hulk game, what was the name of that one? It was around the time like that whole Ang Lee Hulk movie came out. It sucked anyway. That game. But Enter the Matrix was good. I'm getting off on a tangent here. But you know, I haven't thought about a lot of these games in a really long time. And that's what's cool about this whole backwards compatibility stuff, and just revisiting retro games, you know, in general. That's why I encourage it a lot. And the backwards compatibility, of course, makes it easy to do that. If not, or if you have the original systems kicking around, plug it in, you know, load up some of these old games and see if you can find something you haven't thought about in forever. Because there's some really good games, there's some really terrible games. Again, you know, how I mentioned, when you think about retro, usually in the resurgence of retro, it's like the 8-bit, 16-bit, pixel kind of classic, what you think, you know, but there's this whole other weird time frame, and it's like PS1 to now, in a way, or like PS1 to PS3, or you know, Xbox to Xbox 360, that a lot of games kind of get lost, like, because they switched to 3D, right? So, like, especially PS1, some of those PS1 games are freaking terrible looking, and it's hard to get past. Like, I love PS1 games. Some of them are classics that will, like, the gameplay's still solid. Looks a little rough, but it's still worth diving into. They were great for the full motion video games, which I absolutely love. It's a big like kind of hidden gem passion thing. If you don't know, a lot about Leisure Plays or of the FMV games, and that's the ones that look like a movie that you're playing through. I love those for some reason. One of my favorite game styles. But there's some really like basic, low texture 3D model games that freaking suck, and they're awesome because of it, I guess. I don't know. So either way, halftime, you probably already got them in a box somewhere. You can find them for like $1 or $2 at the thrift store or on the Xbox Marketplace or PSN sometime. Well, not PSN because they lock it behind that stupid paywall. But Switch, it's great for that. One of those games they recently kind of re-released that we had talked about and kind of trashed on the channel. Very popular PS1 game back in the day. It was Siphon Filter. Everybody freaking loved Siphon Filter, and I thought it was garbage. Terrible game. But anyway, whatever. Some people like it, obviously. Not me. But it's one of those kind of, that's in that weird kind of PS1 era where it went 3D, but the textures almost are non-existent, so you get a lot of blocky looking things that are solid colors. I don't know. Some of those are just atrocious. But still some really well done games out there. And when you start going down that road, you find some of these of like, oh, hey, I remember that game. Games you hadn't thought about in a long time. And that's the thing. Like, when you think back of old games, right? If you're my age or not, there's going to be ones that you really think of. Like, I think back and I think of, from way back in the day, like Atari, of, Warlords and Yar's Revenge and Congo Bongo and stuff like that I played a lot. Commodore 64 was like Law of the West and Fortress of the Witch King and Paperboy and stuff like that. If you were in the arcade, you might be thinking of Pac-Man or Dig Dug or something like that, right? Super Nintendo or regular Nintendo, Mario, Metroid, Super Nintendo, Super Mario, Donkey Kong Country. Like, you have this kind of default of what you go to is this exercise, I guess, right? That your brain goes to when you think of these old systems that you haven't played. But like, there was a shit ton of games on all those that, you may have played, may have not played. It's like cool to jar your memory, like some of those games that I'll dig up or come across or find. It's like, man, I haven't even thought about this game forever. Like Commodore 64, my favorite Commodore 64 game was Law of the West. Beyond that, it was Fortress of the Witch King, which was awesome. But like, I used to love this Bruce Lee game on there too. I used to love the Kung Fu game on there. And when you get into like kind of looking at the library and what's on those, and you see those, you might even not remember my name, but it's like, holy shit, I remember this game. And I don't know, it's cool for nostalgia, it's cool for memories, it's cool for like appreciation of the evolution of the art form that is video games, right? So it's neat. I know the past few of these videos I've been going on about retro games, and I don't know, I guess it's probably just because I'm kind of going on that path myself, right? Like, I always love retro games. I've been about that for a long time. But like I say, there's this really weird kind of era that kind of gets lost, right? Like, it's not the pixel Mario stuff, and it's not the current games. It's somewhere in between that's not so popular, and that's, I guess, what I'm kind of going down. And it reminds me of some of those things, like the bullet time, and just, I don't know, cool things that like some of those titles tried to do. So that's about, I guess, short of rehashing everything I said, that's I guess that's about all I have for this video, and I'm at my destination anyway, so gotta go fix a Monday computer problem. But Yeah, Bullet Time is so awesome. So cool. I want to see that again. So I will be showing something, likely Fear. I'll find a copy somewhere or I'll order it or whatever. That fits right into the holiday kind of, because like I said, it had kind of those spooky elements. I was thinking about it again. Great action. Got the bullet time. It's got a lot of those things. So I think it's a cool one. I guarantee if you don't know what Fear is, it'll be interesting. And if you do know, then, you're probably like, oh shit, I remember Fear. That was a cool title. It really very, very popular back in the day. So keep a lookout for that. That'd probably be the one. I don't know. I'm always in debate on what I'm going to stream next. I always talk about a few options, but I do want to play that again. So it will definitely pop up somewhere along the line, and probably before the holiday because it fits that theme. So keep a lookout for there. Check out some Bullet Time games. Hell, Google games of Bullet Time and see if you got one, or see if one that seems to interest you to check out, because it's super fun. Best scene since The Matrix. Anyway, until next time, see ya.